It looks as though both Buffalo Bills coaching staff and the front office know who the running back of the future is for our Buffalo Bills. Now the only question is, who is going to join them to create that 1-2 punch? Welcome to Billievers Talk. My name is Joe, and welcome to a free agency edition of Billievers Talk, where we take a look at the free agency market in this episode, specifically the running back position, and we take a look at who would be the best fit for the Buffalo Bills heading into the 2020-2021 NFL season. Again, guys, my name is Joe. If you're new to the channel, you want to make sure you hit that subscribe button. Guys, I know the Buffalo Bills are no longer playing football on the field, but that does not mean that there is an off season. No off season in the NFL, and we have you covered right here on Billievers Talk. So you want to make sure you hit that subscribe button. After you hit that subscribe button, you hit that notification bell. We'll notify you when we put out new content, because not only do we cover the Buffalo Bills, we're going to cover all Buffalo sports. So again, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, like this video, and leave a comment. Let me know which running backs that I'm about to name would you like to see on the Buffalo Bills. So we had a comment from Rick Beam asking me to do a video involving the free agent running back class of the 2020-2021 NFL season. And let me tell you guys who I think would be the best fits for the Buffalo Bills. Now, when you look at NFL free agency, there are all different types of free agents. So we're going to look at that first, and then I'm going to name every single free agent running back going into the 2020-2021 NFL season. And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. Some of them you know, most of them you know, but some of them that you've never heard of. So I want to make sure we take a look at all of them. We take a look at what type of free agent there are. Remember, there's restricted free agent, unrestricted free agent, and exclusive rights free agent. And then there's always those team/player option free agents that we'll all talk about right here in this episode. So first, you have your unrestricted free agent, okay? And listen, out of all the free agency types, this is the one, as a fan and as a team, you like to deal with the most because they're unrestricted. That means I can talk to every single team. You can make them any offer you want, so you can set the bar wherever you want to and say, hey, here's our offer, take it or leave it. With a restricted free agent, it's a little more complicated. If you're a restricted free agent, so for example, the first restricted free agent on this list is Matt Breida of the San Francisco 49ers, okay? So as a Bills fan, let's say we wanted to go after Matt Breida. Well, whatever number we offered Matt Breida, if we offered him 2 years, $20 million, if we offered him 3 years, $15 million, whatever it was, the San Francisco 49ers would have a chance to match that or beat it. And in that case, then Breida would stay as a 49er. If you are an exclusive rights free agent, we have Gus Edwards on this list. He is an exclusive rights free agent. What that means is he was an undrafted free agent who was brought on board to a team, to a contract, a 2-3-year contract, and with the exclusive rights tag at the end of it. So what that means is going into the 2020 NFL season, the Baltimore Ravens can make Gus Edwards an offer, and he has two choices. He can either sign that offer and play, and that could be for the league minimum. It does not matter. Or he could sit out the year. Those are his two options. That's it. No negotiations with other teams. Take the offer of the Ravens. Give you now Gus Edwards' case, he might be getting paid a little bit more, right? Because he did have a good season for the Baltimore Ravens, but you never know. They could give him league minimum this year and say, either you play or you don't, we don't care, and then try to work on a contract for the future. Who knows what they're going to do, but those are some of the different types of free agencies that you could have. So when you look at the exclusive rights free agents, you're looking at guys that you probably aren't going to have a chance to sign. When you look at the restricted free agents, you're looking at guys that you know the team they're on has a chance to match. Remember, we signed Charles Clay when he was a restricted free agent. What we did was we offered way too much money, and Miami wasn't going to match it, and we took Charles Clay, and we all remember how big of a mess that was. So sometimes, a lot of times, you do want to stay away from that restricted free agent money, because if you talk about restricted free agents, you're talking about possibly paying them more than they're actually worth. So you look at the unrestricted free agents, the guys you can make an offer, and if they say, oh, I'm getting a better offer here, you can either negotiate, or you could say, okay, take this or leave it, no big deal either way. So like I said, I'm going to go over every single running back in part of the 2020 free agency class. There's a lot of names on here, so I'm going to go through them quickly, and I'm just going to highlight a couple. I'm going to highlight a couple that I like as a Bills fan potentially coming to Buffalo to take over for Frank Gore, or maybe re-sign Frank Gore, as Frank Gore and Sonoris Perry are free agents going into the season. I know we didn't use Sonoris Perry all that much this year, but the fact that he's a free agent as well means we have 2 running back slots available that we need to be filled, either here in free agency or in the NFL draft. Guys, I know that we can fill these positions in the draft as well, so make sure that you check out my draft coverage as we get closer to the draft. I will take a look at the running back position and see which running backs going into the draft that I like. Remember, the Buffalo Bills have 9 draft picks. Definitely could use one of those later ones on a running back. So let's get to the free agent running backs going into the 2020 season. Like I said, there's a lot of names here, so make sure you bear with me. It will get kind of boring towards the end because these are names you probably have never heard of, and I don't plan seeing in a Bills uniform. So the first name on this list, everyone knows this guy, had a great playoff run. Derrick Henry. You have Carlos Hyde, Adrian Peterson, Kenyon Drake, Gus Edwards, Matt Breida, Melvin Gordon, Frank Gore, Austin Eckler, Jordan Howard, Peyton Barber, LaShawn McCoy, DeAndre Washington, Brian Hill, Jonathan Williams, Bilal Powell, Kareem Hunt, Chris Thompson, Reggie Bonifant, Amir Abdullah, Jeff Wilson, Ty Montgomery. That's just the one side, guys. There's more. Like I said, lots of names here to go over for the 2020 free agencies when it comes to the running back position. Well, Wendell Smallwood, CJ Prosise, Darren Sproles, Dwayne Washington, Spencer Ware, Dontrell Hilliard, Tywan Jones, Javarius Allen, Marshawn Lynch, Kenyon Barner, Tremaine Pope, Samaje Perine, Tyler Irvin, Devontae Parker, Sonoris Perry, Lamar Miller, Theo Riddick, and Isaiah Crowell. So those are the free agents for the running back position heading into the 2020-2021 NFL season. Now, like I said, I highlighted a couple of these names as guys I want to talk about, and I know we look at those top guys and say Derrick Henry, Carlos Hyde, man, those would be some nice players to have. I don't see the Buffalo Bills going after those type of guys. First of all, you're talking about the money. I know the Buffalo Bills have a lot of free money coming into free agency, coming into the 2020 NFL season, but you don't want to tie more of that up in the running back position than you already have to. I mean, you talk about a lot of guys coming up on contract years that you want to have to re-sign. You want to go after some of those big-name free agents, so you want to protect that money, and I think Brandon Beane and that front office has really done a good job at seeing their needs and filling the needs and setting a price for a player and not going above that price. I feel like they do a really good job with that. But when I look at Derrick Henry, I look at Carlos Hyde, I look at guys that are going to want to take starting reps, right? They're going to want to be the ball carrier a majority of the time, and they earned that. If you look at both of them getting over 1,000 yards this season, Derrick Henry over 1,500, 18 touchdowns. Carlos Hyde, his first ever 1,000-yard season, 1,070 yards for him and 6 touchdowns. Not that bad. So when I look at those two guys, I say, hey, everyone wants to have those guys, but those are not the type of players the Buffalo Bills are looking for at this time. We have Devin Singletary. He's going to be our first and second down back. Now we just need a guy to throw in that changeup possibly, or be that bruiser of a back for the Buffalo Bills. So the first guy I really highlighted on my list is Kenyon Drake. Kenyon Drake finished the season last year with the Arizona Cardinals. 26 years of age, had 817 rushing yards, 8 touchdowns last season. At times, he was very productive for the Cardinals. We know that he played for the Dolphins the year before that, and if you recall, he actually was fined for part of that brawl that the Bills and Dolphins got into in 2018. So he has a little history with the Buffalo Bills, but are we willing to look past that for good production, right? That's what it's all about here. Good production. Who's going to be able to step in and possibly give a little burst to that running game if needed? Devin Singletary gets a little winded. Can he come in and provide that spark that a lot of teams sometimes have for your third down back? Maybe that's something we look into. Again, let me know in the comment section what you think. Next name on this list, Gus Edwards. Listen, Gus Edwards would be the perfect fit for the Buffalo Bills, but again, he's on that exclusive rights free agency list, so I'm not sure if the Buffalo Bills are going to get a shot to even sign Gus Edwards, but if he does become available, definitely a name that we want to look at. Matt Breida, restricted free agent, same thing. I think San Fran's going to match any offer that a team puts out there for Matt Breida. Had a great season for the 49ers, but you never know. If you look at the 49ers, they have that three-headed monster at running back, right? They have a running back by committee type system. If Breida's asking for too much money for them, he might become available then for other teams. I just think that the San Francisco 49ers will keep him this year and then go into next year possibly restructuring his contract. And then you look at a guy that the Buffalo Bills, or at least Buffalo fans, were interested last offseason when he demanded a trade from the LA Chargers, and that's Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon, an unrestricted free agent, so he is available for any team. Had 612 rushing yards in 2019 and 9 touchdowns. So he still had some productivity for the LA Chargers. Remember, he missed the first 3 games, I believe it was, because he was sitting out. So he missed some time with the Chargers. We know how bad this Charger team was. So, teams could put 8, 9 in the box to stop Gordon in the run game. And if we go down this list, we have another Charger on this list now. Austin Eckler is a restricted free agent, but if you look at his numbers, he had 11 touchdowns last year, 8 of them receiving. So you want to talk about a guy who adds a little something extra to your running attack. You look at a guy like Austin Eckler. Now, again, I think that as a restricted free agent, this is the guy the LA Chargers are going to be going after. A guy 2 years younger than Melvin Gordon. We know that he's a versatile running back, can do it on the ground and in the air. So you want to make sure that you lock him up. And the thing about these guys' contract, when you look at market value on Spot Track, they list the market value for these players as pretty much the same between Melvin Gordon and Austin Eckler. So you can imagine if Melvin Gordon is available, the Bills might be interested, and he might be the type of back. Remember, he's 2-3 years removed from a 1,000-yard rushing season, so he can get the job done. Is he willing to take a backup running back role or be a third down back, only taking about maybe 40 to 50% of the snaps? This past season, Melvin Gordon took about 50% of the snaps, but again, that's because he spent 3 games not playing because he was holding out. So is that someone we can go after? Again, let me know in the comment section. Frank Gore at 37 years old, played for the Buffalo Bills last season, 599 yards, 2 touchdowns for the Bills last season. I do want to mention that he averaged 3.6 yards per carry, which is actually the worst of his career. So he does seem to be declining a little bit, as running backs do when they hit 30. He's had 7 more years than most running backs of a successful NFL career. Now, obviously, Frank Gore can choose to retire, which that means no one's going to get a chance at him. But do the Buffalo Bills want to take another shot at Frank Gore, a guy that I'm sure Devin Singletary learned a lot from this past offseason? He could learn even more from him this next season as well if the Bills want to make an offer. And if the Bills want to make an offer, you have to figure a 37-year-old running back probably isn't going to come at that high of a price. So we have that going for us heading into the 2020 NFL season. Next guy on this list, on my list, a guy that I've highlighted, a guy that I think is a very interesting possibility for a fit in Buffalo, would be Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard did not play a full season with the Philadelphia Eagles, but in the time he played, 525 yards, 7 touchdowns for the Philadelphia Eagles. I want a guy that can get in the end zone. 7 touchdowns in limited time for the Philadelphia Eagles is not that bad. If you bring him on to Buffalo as a third down back, I know a lot of people are going to say he's injury prone. That's why you take the carries away from him, right? You don't have him carry the ball as much, and then maybe that will prevent him from getting injuries. We just saw last season what the Buffalo Bills did with Devin Singletary to try and make sure that he didn't get too nicked up. He did have that hamstring issue early in the season, but then late in the season, you finally saw it kick in, right? And you saw him at full health, and that's what the Buffalo Bills coaching staff was trying to do the whole season. So very impressive how they handled Devin Singletary. I know a lot of Bills fans were antsy waiting for Devin Singletary to get his carries, while at the end of the season you finally saw him getting some of those carries. Now, we all wish that would have ran the ball more, but he does begin to get the carries towards the end of the season. If you use Jordan Howard properly, I think that he would be a good fit for the Buffalo Bills. Next on my list is Jonathan Williams. Jonathan Williams played with the Colts last season, 235 yards, 1 touchdown in very limited time. I think he had less than 1% of the snaps for the Indianapolis Colts this past season. In his 2 seasons in the NFL, he's had less than 1% of snaps each time. So you're talking about very limited action, 235 yards, and a touchdown. I'll take that for Jonathan Williams, sitting there at 26 years old. You look at this list. Next on my list, I do have Kareem Hunt. Now, I know a lot of you will have issues with what Kareem Hunt has done in his personal life. I'm not here to talk about personal life or personal matters. I'm here to talk about what he can contribute on the field. We know that he was suspended to start the 2018 or 2019 NFL season. I think he missed the first 8 games. That game against the Bills was his first game back, and he made a difference. And we're talking about talent on the field. Now, we could talk all day about Kareem Hunt versus Coach McDermott's system and Coach McDermott's attitude and the type of culture he wants to bring on his team and how those don't match, and I would agree with you. So I don't think we're going after Kareem Hunt, but it's definitely a name you have to consider. Definitely a name you have to consider. Again, in only 8 games this past season, started 3 of them. He played 313 snaps, 43 rush attempts, 179 yards. That's over 4 per carry. And then he also had 37 receptions. 37 receptions in 8 games for running back. That's pretty good. 285 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. Now, he is a restricted free agent, so Cleveland could match any offer that anybody else would give him. And again, I know his personal issues, and I know that he might not match the culture that Coach McDermott is trying to set in Buffalo. But from a talent perspective, Kareem Hunt is someone you can't avoid looking at. Then I look at a guy that I always liked. I thought going into Detroit, I liked him. And then last year in Minnesota, I thought, he didn't do as bad as some would say. Again, Minnesota, you're talking about Dalvin Cook back there. So some of the other running backs might get lost in the shuffle. I'm talking about Amir Abdullah, again, previously of Detroit and then Minnesota. Last year, 137 snaps. Just 137 snaps, 23 rush attempts, 115 yards. That's 5 yards per rush. And in previous years, in 2016, he averaged 5.6 yards per carry. I think that this is a guy that's not getting looks that he should be getting in the NFL. 15 receptions for 88 yards and a touchdown. Don't be surprised if we take a look at Amir Abdullah. Again, these are guys that are not going to cost all that much for the Buffalo Bills. So those are the guys I'm really looking at. Let me go through those names again. Kenyon Drake, who last year averaged 4.8 yards a carry. I'm looking at guys that have averaged close to 4, if not over 4 yards per carry. So you look at Kenyon Drake, I think that would be a decent fit. Again, maybe he wants to be a starter, however, so that would not fit for the Buffalo Bills. Same thing with Melvin Gordon, averaged 3.8 yards per attempt, 8 rushing touchdowns. Again, I want guys that can score, that can get into the end zone, because more than likely this is the guy that might help out in the red zone a little bit, be the guy on 3rd downs to try to get those first downs. Those are the type of guys I want. You can definitely still take a look at Frank Gore. Like I said, however, 3.6 yards per carry, the worst he's ever had in his career for a season. So is that a well you want to keep leaning on until it crumbles? Because who knows what you're getting next year. And Frank Gore could retire, in which case there's no questions as to possibly making an offer for him because he will not be playing next season. The real interesting one for me would be Jordan Howard. I really like Jordan Howard. Again, played in 10 games, started 4 for the Eagles last season, 24% of the snaps, 119 rush attempts, 525 yards, 4.4 yards per carry, 6 rushing touchdowns, 10 receptions, 69 yards, a touchdown there as well. So you have to take a look at him and say that is a possibility. Jonathan Williams, like I said, less than 1% of the snaps for the Indianapolis Colts, averaged 4.8 yards per carry last year on 49 rush attempts and had a rushing touchdown, 5 catches for 59 yards. So even in just 101 snaps, he got 54 attempts with the ball, and he got over 290 yards of offense. So again, someone you kind of want to look at and say, hey, he'll come cheap. No one's giving him a shot. Bring him in, see what he could do. Maybe put him on that 90-man roster and see if he makes that 53-man roster. Give him a shot. They have Amir Abdullah is the last guy. The other guys are restricted free agents. I'm talking about Austin Eckler and Kareem Hunt, so I'm not expecting much from them. Again, I want guys that can get into the end zone. That's the main goal in this game, scoring more points than the other team. So I'm looking at you, Melvin Gordon, a guy who had 8 touchdowns last season. Kenyon Drake, are you willing to take a back seat and play second fiddle to Devin Singletary? Also have 8 touchdowns last season. So again, those 2 guys might be too high in the market for us. But then you look at a guy like Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard got in the end zone 6 times running, with 1 time receiving for the Philadelphia Eagles, and limited carries, again only having 119 rush attempts, averaging 4.4 yards per carry, still getting in the end zone 6 times. I'm looking at you, Jonathan Williams, less than 1% of the snaps, still able to find the end zone and average 4.8 yards per carry. I'm looking at Amir Abdullah, who averaged 5 yards a carry, was able to get in the end zone that 2017 season when we found the end zone 4 times. Maybe we get some of that magic back. But who is going to be the Buffalo Bills second tier running back next season? Who's going to add to that 1-2 punch? So that's something that you have to take a look at if you are a Bills fan. That's something that was brought to my attention. Again, I thank you for the comment. The commenter commented about this topic. If you have a comment or a topic that you want me to discuss right here on Billievers Talk, leave a comment. Let me know what that topic is. Happy to discuss it. It was Rick Beam, if I didn't say earlier, Rick Beam with the suggestion for the video. So I really appreciate that. And again, if you guys have any other suggestions, happy to do it. Those are the free agents at the running back position heading into free agency. Again, free agency is going to start March 18th. We'll be here before you know it. Prior to that, we're going to keep you updated on the Senior Bowl coming up this Sunday. The draft coming up in April, and then free agency, of course, as well. So you want to make sure you hit that subscribe button, like this video, leave a comment. Let me know which running backs you would like to see in a Bills uniform next year. Again, I appreciate you guys joining me for this edition of Billievers Talk. I look forward to talking to you all soon. Until I do, go Bills.